Okay, good morning. Sorry for delay in starting this session. Guess everyone can hear my voice in this. Can you hear me, all people? Hello. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we're able to hear you.
Thank you very much. So I'll be starting this session. I was giving the previous sessions as many other things, Arista, data centers, and Red Hat. Like so many solutions, I started talking about that. This is a security. Would like to talk about that. Many people were asking about the cyber security. Can you talk on this slide? So I used to take many sessions of cyber security as well, and I've delivered these sessions in many other bigger companies as well as a corporate trainings also. And I've been training the people on cyber security for quite long. I'm very sorry. So this cyber security is the new term which has been given up now. And 5-6 years back and all like that, we will just call it as like a security only normally. And in this security, we just need to understand that it's not only just configuring the firewalls or writing the access list rules or configuring certain kind of installing the antivirus solutions in our desktop and antivirus solutions on the mail checking and other things on the mail exchange servers. It's not that it's not only about the virus or something like that. We will be talking about some of the attacks which are happening on the computers, on the servers, on routers, switches, every other network devices, databases, bankings, and everything. We will be having that kind of attacking which are happening on this. It's not only about the virus. Virus, like we have the virus cleaning software, the state-of-the-art virus cleaning software which we have. We can install it on our servers, and people can download all the virus signatures and other things through the server, and they can update their own updated software that is being available in all the companies which we normally do that. But we talking about that cyber security in the sense like we are coming into the next level of the security. This cyber security is talking about the one which we are talking about on the internet, because in internet the entire network whichever we are having currently is been built on the network, like all are being exposed to the internet. Even though if we have on internet connections and all, and the way which we are going to block certain ports and blocking certain people to send some mails or the applications which are exposed to the internet, and the people who are coming through the VPN connections, or they may not be getting the VPN connections, or they try to hack into your network or something. So that level we'll be talking about the cyber security. Means the entire network is being exposed to the internet very much heavily nowadays in the nowadays environment, because each and every health file we try to get them from the internet only. Previously, we used to keep some documentations in the locally, but local documentations are not that much effective and they are not being updated so often. So people would like to tend to go to the Microsoft site or Linux sites, Cisco sites, or any other sites, whichever it is having the currently updated documents they would like to see it. So, and moreover, the connections which are happening on like mostly on the VPN connections, means from work from home culture has been come up nowadays. So everybody is connecting from their homes and they try to connect to their corporate network. So security need to be beefed up in a way that it should be in a top of the security, so that we will not be opening up our horizons to be attacking people or something. So that is about the cyber security which we talk about that here, and the cyber security which involves many other technologies as well as we will be talking about some encryption, decryption technologies, password authentications, and the IPsec protocols we'll be talking on. This is normally comes up in any firewall configuration. People will be knowing about this. And this is not the one we are going to talk about. We are talking about something on a web application firewalls. Like that is a new term which has been coming up in the last 3-4 years. Web application firewalls means the firewalls are normally working in a layer 4. They'll be working on TCP and the UDP ports and all. That is the level of the firewalls which we will be configuring on last 10 years and all. Like, so we need to go beyond that layer 4 also, like layer 5, layer 6, layer 7 level. Like protocol level. Protocol level attacks are happening nowadays. So that protocol level attacks, we need to understand that how to stop that attacks, how to prevent our network by installing the web application firewalls, and what all the web application firewalls are available on the world, and which are all the companies which are producing the FI, like FI is producing on WAF, that is called as an ASM. ASM means Application Security Manager. And every other cloud provider, they have come up with the web application firewalls. And okay, there is some small messages come. So web application firewalls has been given in AWS as well, Azure as well, Google as well. We can configure that web application firewalls, which we will be talking about that on the protocol level, blocking on layer 7, like applications level security we can activate. And I would like to go to the further screens. I will be maximize my screen here. So I guess all can see my PPT. I guess I shared this PPT to you. Should be seeing it.
Yes, Ramnath, we are able to see.
Thank you for the confirmation. And we are going to talk about something on cyber security, on cyber attacks. So people don't believe there is a Twitter CEO's account has been hacked recently in the sense maybe like a year before or something. So his account has been hacked, and the person who would like to send a message to that CEO that your account has been hacked, something like he wants to prove his attacking capability. Because Twitter is nothing but a small it's not a small one, social networking software, social networking platform where people are like, even the people who are from the bigger companies as well, the national top leaders are using the Twitter to send the messages to the people and to their employees and to their counterparts and to their engineers and other things. So Twitter is becoming a very big platform for social networking sites. So that has been that attack has been happened on Twitter CEO account itself. That was the news. You can even check it out in the Google. And IT service recently, 2 months back, we got an attack on Cognizant. Cognizant in Bangalore, I would like to tell you, people try to hide many informations on this, but Cognizant is heavily attacked, and they lose a lot of information on this because of the ransomware attack. Ransomware, which was there for last year also, last previous years also, like some of the code red virus has come up, and they try to get into your systems and they will lock out all the folders and the files and other things. If you pay the money, whichever they are looking for, you may have to pay it in the Bitcoins, like the normal bank accounts, it will not work out. So you need to pay it on Bitcoins or something. So that then they will give you the password for you to unlock this thing. Otherwise, it will get, after 30 days, after 15 days or something, it will get deleted on its own. That's how they've been trying to attack the systems. The same way has been done in the Cognizant also. Now they have the 600 crore loss on this Maze ransomware attack. That was a name given to the ransomware attacks. Like this kind of an attacks which are happening, you can just think of that how weaker our security solutions are running on that. So daily vigilant you should be having, like, and you should be keep on checking that each and every mail which is going and coming through the company's website, and who all the people are visiting our website and who tries to attack it, which is a valuable packet which is coming in, what are the valuable packets which are going out, like screening each and every packet. Screening has to be done. This is a very tedious job. Yes, of course, we have the people who are security operating centers, people that are there and they are doing their lot of work and they're burning their midnight oil and all. But still, there are many attacks which are happening, very slow, small attacks which are happening, and bigger companies will not come up with the attacks which is happening. They don't accept it also because of their name will get corrupted in the market. So their share prices may go down by seeing this. And if there is an attack is happening on AWS, you can think of how many people will go for AWS solutions. Now there are 80% of the people are liking the AWS because of that it is a security beefed up, and there is a lot of application features which we can activate through that, because cloud is nothing like we don't have any data, we don't have any control on our data. We are just creating our own virtual private networks and other things. We are creating it on that, but still the data is being kept on a data centers on AWS platform only. So we will not be going ahead and seeing all these things and all. They don't allow us to see it. So these are all the problems which are there in current today's scenario. And again, I can say that this because of the corona attack which has been happened on human beings. So the work from home culture has been becoming so heavily that everybody is depending upon their link connections towards the ISP sites and all like. So the attack is very easier for the people who are prone to the attacks or something if they are not installed any kind of a software and they haven't have got any kind of proper VPN has been built up, or any kind of kind of bugs which are there in the firewall which has been leaking all the informations to that. So many things are happening. So we are in a position to save our network in a proper way. so that we are talking about this cyber security course on this. Let me go to the next slide. So ransomware attacks, you can just see it's a very small one, which I took it from the Google. Ransomware attacks, which has happened on like in 2019, there is some, the pie chart, something they given it. And which industry of how many percentage of that industry has got affected due to the ransomware attacks. Manufacturing is all 13.8 and the business share something 8.3 and the hospital and other services, e-commerce sites, like every other industry has got affected. So they try to attack on each and every establishments. They are not looking for only IT companies or something. They try to look for any bigger companies as well. Like because if they capture something on a business side or something, it's very easy for them to get the money like lump. So it is a very like a bounty mother, bounty like that. So they can get a lot of money on this. So this is a ransomware attack. I just given an example on this. So how we are going to protect our system from this? So security tools which are going to build up, like what are the things it should perform and what we need to be beefing up all these things by doing this. Stopping the threats at the edge itself. Whenever it is trying to enter it, we need to stop it there. Find and contain the problems first. We need to find out the problems and containing them. Protecting users wherever they are. Wherever they are, there is a problem. If they are in our own premises, on premises, the people are sitting down in our own office and it has been a well protected site and we have a proper physical security is also available as well as IT security is also available because our entire network has been completely protected and they will be going out with only legitimate logins and other things is possible. But currently it is not possible. 80% of the people who are working from home all over the world now. It's not only in India, all over the world because of this corona attack. So when people are coming out from any part of the world and they try to come into the corporate network, the real challenges starts there. Who should be authorized to get in? Who should not be authorized to get in? So it is very easy for the attackers now because everyone is sitting in home. So if there is any small kind of security breach has been happened on your own local computer, which you may not be knowing that while you are connecting to your corporate network, they may get into the corporate network on this. So here the real challenges happen when the people are working from home on this. And simplify the network segmentations. So this we need to work out with the network people like that, how to simplify that, not to make anything much complex on this. And there won't be any much entry points as well like that. We may have to reduce the entry points as well as the exit points also from the network, and control who gets onto your network. This is more important. Like who are the people who are allowed to get into the network and how the people are getting outside or something like that. We just need to do a lot of log analysis need to be done on firewalls and web application firewalls and application security firewalls. Everything we just need to check it out. The next one, it's about the cyber security objective. We need to talk about the objective. What are the things we just need to understand and how we are going to protect our network. Basic the diagram we just need to know that this cone we should understand confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is nothing but hiding the things from the people who are trying to attack us. We will be seeing one by one on this. Ensures that unauthorized individuals are not being gain access to the sensitive information, means hiding it. We are not showing it to them. Unless and until they are coming out with the proper authorization, then only they've been given on the access. Cybersecurity professionals develop and implement security controls, including firewalls, access control lists, and encryption to prevent unauthorized access to the information. Even everything has been configured properly. Due to the bug in the software on any one of the firewall, it can leak a lot of information as well. So we just need to properly having a scheduling to update all our firewalls, all our endpoint systems, all our servers, mail servers, importantly, all servers need to be properly updated with the security patches on them. That is also a very important point for all the security administrators as well. Then attackers may seek to undermine the confidentiality controls to achieve one of their goals, the unauthorized disclosure of the sensitive information. This, like, we need to have a proper sessions need to be conducted for all the employees in our company, that it should be properly scheduled weekly or bi-weekly or maybe like a monthly, like how we can protect our information, what all the things need to be kept on our desk, how and how we are going to keep our desktops locked, These are like normally whenever you're joining a company or something like that, they'll be giving you like an induction program. But we may forget all these things while yeah, it's happening with every company. Yeah, why should I worry about? No, there only the leaking is actually definitely happening on this. And we may be tailgating with that. One person is swiping the card, and another 10% will be entering into that. In that way, like unauthorized person also come inside to your own locality also it is possible. So this is nothing but a confidentiality. Next one is integrity. Integrity ensures that there are no unauthorized modifications to informations or systems, either intentionally or unintentionally. Modifications of information on the systems, like, so who will be doing the changes and who is the authorized person to do some changes on this, whether the changes are properly recorded or not. We can just go ahead and find out that who are the persons who have done that, because we need to have proper logging facility like a TechAx or Radius or like some other protocols. With that, we just need to understand that who has done the recent changes or something. Integrity controls such as hashing and integrity monitoring solutions seek to enforce this requirement. And integrity threats may come from attackers seeking alteration of information without authorization or non-malicious resources such as power spike causing the corruption of the information. This is also a very important point. We need to have a proper power need to be maintained. UPS has to be given on that. And so battery systems has to be operating properly. So many things are coming up. Integrity can get changed because of that, due to the power spike which is happening on that. Data may get corrupted. You may be thinking that someone has attacked our system. No, maybe like due to the corruption, because everything is an electronic equipment, so they can go, they can get some kind of easily defects on any time. So we just need to maintain that. That is an integrity of this. Availability. Availability ensures that information and systems are ready to meet the needs of legitimate users at the time of those users request them. Whenever we require the resources, by providing the proper username and password, it should be available for us. If it is not available, it is under maintenance, it is not, if the system is down, in the sense it's a problem. Availability controls such as fault tolerance, backups, and clustering seek to ensure that legitimate users may gain access as needed. And similar to the integrity threats, availability threats may come either from attackers seeking the disruption of access or non-malicious sources such as fire destroying the data center that contains valuable information or services. So this is the availability. Availability is nothing but we are making our systems should be available for 24/7 to our employers as well as to our customers also. We need to ensure that how it is going to be available for 24/7 and 365, because we need to maintain the proper AC, and because of the too much heat, the systems may go down, and we may have to keep our power systems in control. UPS need to be given, proper generators has to be made of. So many dependabilities are there. Just not only like we are just updating all the firewalls and everything and all. If the power is not being properly maintained and all, like, then people, when they try to accessing it, it may not be available. So the triangle which we see, that confidentiality, integrity, and availability, these three are very important in the, not only in cybersecurity, we talk about all security establishments as well. And what are the common types of cyber attacks? Malware, phishing, man in the middle attack, denial of service attack, SQL injection, zero-day exploit, DNS tunneling. This is the latest one, DNS tunneling. We will see one by one. Malware, we are using some malware, in the sense malware bytes we are using for single computer or something, but that is not enough for us. We need to make very stringent things. What is malware? Malware is a term used to describe malicious software, including spyware, ransomware, viruses, and worms. Malware breaches a network through vulnerability. Typically, when user clicks a dangerous link or email attachment, then that installs as risky software in the system. Once inside the system, the malware can do the following: blocks access to key components of the network, that is ransomware, installs malware or additional harmful software, covertly obtains information by transmitting the data from the hard drive, that is a spyware, disrupts certain components and renders the system inoperable. This much things malware can do. How malware enters our network? Because of the people who are using the Gmail in the office mailing, office desktops, something like. So Gmail should be blocked. Like all the free mails whichever it has been given on access will be prone to malware attack, definitely. Because Gmail, we will be getting the mails from even from our friends or relatives, or Even the unknown people also do it. They are just do that email scanning like that. They'll just type three letters of your name or something, and whatever the emails are starting from that name, they'll be sending the mails to you. Whoever is clicking on the link, and it will be installing a software in your own computer, and it will be start creating all the problems whichever we do not want. That is called ransomware, spyware, viruses, bombs, and other things. So unnecessary clicking on the links which you do not know at all can prevent you from getting attacked from the malware. The next one, phishing. Phishing is the practice of sending fraudulent communications that appear to come from a reputable source, usually through an email. Even in our official mail also we used to get some phishings. It comes up. Because of that, the person who tries to send a mail to you, and he must be having a proper communications with you for last quite 3 months, 4 months or something like that. His email must have been attacked by someone, and through gaining that email access, they will be sending the mail to all the people who are in his own contact list or something. Through that, this kind of a phishing attacks can come. We may seeing that a lot of like Nigerian banks which are giving you the $100,000, $200,000, something like that, which are coming up. We should not be going for that. Okay. The goal is to steal the sensitive data like credit card and login information, or to install malware on the victim's machine. This is what phishing. Normally, what we do, instead of remembering the passwords and the credit card pins or debit card pins or something, people will make it as like a normal notepad. In the notepad, and what do they do? And the notepad, they'll keep it up, and they will. It's very easy for the notepad to get hacked on this. Once your system is not hacked, in the sense they will be hacking all the taking all the information, whichever it is a sensitive information. So please don't keep anything sensitive on your own computer. Maybe like at least you can remember the pins on this, like that you can keep it. But I don't know how do you remembering it. Phishing is increasingly common cyber threat. Definitely, it's happening in every other industry, every other place or something. Even if you insert your debit card in your ATM machine or something, they have some kind of phishing they can do. Like they can capture the key strokes, whichever it has been happened, because of your pin can be 4-digit only. So it is easy for them to try out all the pins and other things. So many things are happening. We should be very much aware of that. The next one is like man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack, also known as eavesdropping attacks, occur when attackers insert themselves into the two-party transaction. Once the attackers interrupt the traffic, they can filter and steal the data. Two common points of entry for MITM attacks. On unsecure public Wi-Fi, attackers can insert themselves between the visitor's device and the network. Without knowing, the visitor passes all information through the attacker. This is always happening. Whenever you go to mall, or when you're going to the railway stations, or when you are in an airport, or even you are in Bangalore, we have some commercial street tunnel. It's a common Wi-Fi is available free. Don't connect to that. I'm telling you, try to use your Jio or Airtel or something like that. It's better. So don't connect to that, because you don't know that who is actually listening to you. So this is what happening. That is called as a man in the middle attack. They may be getting all the information, whatever you are passing through your Wi-Fi connection, and they will utilize it against you, definitely. Once malware has breached your device, attacker can install software and to process all the victim information. This always happens. Once you get, you don't need to install any software as such. If you are giving your Amazon password or something like that, it's enough for them. They can go and order a lot of products and all like that. They can deliver it to their own addresses. They can change the address, and the bill will come to you only. So it is possible. It is always happening on AWS. People are coming back and saying that. I've been training people for AWS. They were saying that so many people are doing the same thing, and they are using the cards and all without any proper protection or something like. So their numbers are getting stolen, and they are getting heavy bills on every month or something, which they are never spend on that. So this is called as a man in the middle attack. Next, denial of service. This happens only on DOS. DOS attack we normally call. So like a TCP FIN packet has been sent. SYN packet has been sent. When the SYN acknowledgement and established, 3 packets are there in TCP communication. When SYN packets are coming up like a flooding in the sense it will be like millions and billions of SYN attacks will happen. When there is a SYN is coming inside, the server need to respond to that SYN, When there is a billions of SIN are coming in the sense, it will be very busy in talking to that, addressing that SIN only. So whatever the normal resources has to be, services has to be, like it has to be serviced or something like that. The server will not be having any time to do that. That is called as a denial of service attack. A denial of service attack attacks floods systems, servers, networks with the traffic, exhaust the resources and bandwidth. Definitely. As a result, the system is unable to fulfill legitimate requests. If I'm trying to do some kind of, I would like to get some information, so legitimate, I'm a perfectly logged in with the username and password and all authenticated user, but I will not be able to get any information because the server is busy in handling the SYN requests which are coming from the attacker. Maybe like they will not do it one or two, they will be doing it like heavy attack, million attack they will be doing. Attackers can also use multiple compromised devices to launch this attack. This is known as distributed denial of service attack. They will not attack your system from one PC or one mobile phone. They will be attacking it from group of PCs. Group of means like the hackers will form a group and they will be sending that group attack like. So everywhere, from everywhere the SYN will come up. So the system will be completely unstable. And in the meantime, they can able to try to steal it, because once the system is unstable means people will be getting panicked. So then they can do anything they want in the system. That is what happening on denial of service attack. The next one is like SQL injection. SQL, structured query language. People who are working on database must be knowing this. SQL injection occurs when attacker insert the malicious code into the server that uses the SQL and forces the server to reveal information it normally would not. An attacker could carry out SQL injection simply by submitting malicious code into a vulnerable website search box. This is always happens because every other website should be having an SQL running. Means like we require a database. If it is an e-commerce site, definitely we require a database, because how many devices we are selling, how many mobile phones we are selling, how many products we are selling on that. So everything has been kept in a normal database only. So if the database query normally put that how many devices are left out in our warehouse or something like that, we'll be putting on query. That query is nothing but made through the structured query language and the SQL language. So there they will be putting some malicious kind of, there are some codes out there which I can give you. Once you get that, it'll be tried to hack all the informations on the users who are in. Because nowadays the username and password also being kept as a database as well. So they can steal all the informations on your system by running malicious code informations under the SQL injection. That is called as an injection. So in the search box, they can do that. Zero-day exploit hits after a network vulnerability is announced, but before a patch or solution is implemented. Attackers target the disclosed vulnerability during this window of time. See that? These are all happening. This is the very latest one. Zero-day exploit hits after a network vulnerability is announced, but before a patch or solution is implemented. When you come to know that your system has been compromised, means like due to a bug or something like that, when you try to patch it up your network, in the sense that it may take some time. Until that particular device should be removed from the network, but we don't remove it. That is a problem. Otherwise, we just need to take some kind of backup attacks or something like backup technologies or something. It means like we may have to do some active standby failover or something like that. We can try that. So before doing that only, maybe like it may be taking at least 5-10 minutes or something. In that time, they can attack in the window time, they can attack you. That is called as a zero-day exploit. Every day they are finding out the way to attack your system. So we should be very much aware of this all attacks. DNS tunneling uses the DNS protocol to communicate non-DNS traffic over 53. So frankly speaking, the 53, the port number DNS is being done with not secure way. It is done in an unsecure way. That's why it is very easy to attack the DNS traffic. Once they get the DNS traffic which has been given on you, like when you try to access a site, means you will be typing the www.google.com. When your computer is sending this information, that can be attacked by these guys because it is given in a non-secure query which goes on this. So they can create some kind of a tunneling or something like that. They'll pull out all this information and they will give it to you, all the unnecessary information to you. Your computer may be leading to that site and they will steal all the information from that. There are various legitimate reasons to utilize the DNS tunneling. However, there are also malicious reasons to use DNS tunneling VPN services. They can be used to disguise outbound traffic as DNS, concealing the data that is typically shared through internet connection. For malicious use, DNS requests are manipulated and exfiltrate data from the compromised system to the attacker's infrastructure. It can also be used for command and control callbacks from the attacker's infrastructure to a compromised system. This is a DNS tunneling. It's a new way of attack. We should be aware of this. So nowadays we can even have the DNS queries which can be sent over the secure path also. That is also possible. Some DNS servers have started supporting the secure things also, secure path also. It's possible. And phishings, this is like some of the statistical report, which is 62% of the organizational phishing simulations capture at least one user's credential. 27% of the advanced email attacks are being launched from compromised email accounts. 95% of all attacks on enterprise network are result of successful spear phishing. So this is about the phishing, and maybe continue. Security begins with you. It only takes one wrong click for cyber criminals to access your company's data. Definitely, if you are clicking a link which is not authorized at all, you are inviting the people to attack you. It's like that. So we will be seeing something about spam and phishing and all. Spam is unsolicited, and unwanted email junk, which has been sent to a bulk of the wholesale recipient list. Typically, spam is spent for commercial purposes, promotional, something like that. They would like to introduce their own boxes or something like that, product or something like that. However, spam mail can also be contain malicious attempt to gain access to your computer. So email security becomes an important defense. What is phishing? Phishing is a common type of cyber attack that everyone should learn about to protect themselves. Phishing attacks are fraudulent communication that appear to come from the reputable source. The goal is to trick the recipient, giving away sensitive data, install malware, and so on. We already seen that one. How do spam and phishing work? So you can read out a bigger paragraph here like that. So when people often view spam mails unethical, many businesses still use a spam mail for commercial purposes. As the cost per email is incredibly low, and business can send out mass quantities consistently. Spam also can be sent in mass volume using the botnets, which are network of infected computers. Phishing starts with a fraudulent email, other communications designed to lure the victim, and it can be downloaded to the victim's computer also. Both spam and phishing are related to social engineering, general term for any activity in which an attacker is trying to manipulate you into revealing personal information. Everything is looking for, like, what is your bank account, what is your password, what is your credit card number, what is your credit pin. So everything, it's just like a fluke, because once they get access of this information, they can take a lot of money from your bank account itself. So phishing tips: how do you protect you and your family? Avoid strangers, check name and email address every time. Don't rush, be suspicious to emails marked as urgent. Notice mistakes in spelling and grammar, definitely. Beware of generic greetings, dear sir, ma'am, something like that will be coming up. Don't be lured by incredible deals. So they will be coming up like they'll be giving you a MI phone like with 400 rupees only. Like that is definitely a fake one. Don't go for that. However, hover over the link and before you click to ensure it has got a secure URL. Means HTTPS should be there. HTTP link, please don't click on. Never give out personal or financial information based on the email request. Don't give that. Don't trust links or attachments in unsolicited emails. These all normally will be happening in every other. We will be seeing that on our company websites as well the like in our cubes also it has been pasted on that everything. So again, I would like to tell you. And about the certifications on cyber security, I would like to give you, like, there are many certifications available. People will be confused like which one to go for it. Everything is a good only, but according to the company, what has been looking for, and people who are getting deployed on by having that. CH is always in the top, definitely. That is certified ethical hacker. There is a version 10 is coming up now. It's been already available. The next one is a CompTIA cybersecurity analyst. This is also a very good program. Okay, you can go for that. Cisco CyberOps, they come out with a new certification after this February or something like that. Cisco has rolled out many new certifications as well. One of them is the CyberOps, cyber operations. It comes up like it talks about only the cyber security apart from their own firewalls and like fire threat defense and other firewalls they have. So they come out with a, like more of a generic concept on this, so that the person who is clearing this cyber ops can be work along with the cyber security team as well, security analysts, something that they can do. CISSP, it's always number one, Certified Information System Security Professional. It seems to be that you just need to register yourself in the CISSP site, and you'll have to go through the ISC2 exam or something like that. And you'll be given award like a CISSP certification every 2 years. It should be upgraded or something like that. CISA, that is also another, that is for an auditor, we can give that. The levels of CISSP has been there. The CISSP is a very harder exam to clear. Then Google as well as AWS also has come up with their own security. That is, AWS has got a certified security. It's a specialty. You can go for that. And which has got some how to do the cloud security. How do you protect your devices, protect your configurations, protect your network, protect your servers and databases, everything whichever it has been installed on the AWS. How do you protect your AWS devices on this? It's been taken on this AWS certified security. You may have to clear some association certificate, then you can go for this the high level certifications or something. And Google Cloud Platform, GCP has got professional security engineer also, it is available. So many things are there. As per you like that, you can go for the certification, go for that, because security means the people look for a security. Are you certified? Are you certified in certain platform? Because many companies are nowadays asking that. And accordingly, like that, you can go to the security certifications by clearing any one of the firewall certifications. Because strong firewall sense is required for you to get into the cyber security. Either you are working on a Cisco firewalls like ASA, Fire Threat Defense, or next generation firewalls nowadays came up, or you should be working on some checkpoint firewalls or Palo Alto firewall. Nowadays, it's very much famous. It is a Fortinet and other, which are lower, cheaper firewalls. Any one of the firewall, you should be having the proper experience on that. Then, because you will be having that all low-level things are very much clear. Like you have port numbers and normal security procedures, like how to configure the access list rules and other things. Then later you can come back to the web application firewall. That is a higher level of this. That level you can do that. And let me admit them. There are many people are coming in. So like we need to have the proper understanding of that, the normal firewall, which has been already been there, as well as the web application firewall also we need to understand. Then later we can come back to this cyber security level. Because cyber security level, once is showing that you are having a certification in the sense, there will be a lot of expectation from you. So they will be expecting you that you will be. Hello, somebody's talking. Hello. Okay, no problem. So they will be expecting you that cyber security expectations means the expectations will be very high. You will not be able to you'll not be able to like meet up the requirements which has been come up on this. So better you start with the security systems, security as a guy, like CCNA security was there previously, now it is not there. And CCNA only it is available. Like that, we just need to start with somewhere. The security operations has to be start with the firewall, definitely. We will start with the firewall, access listing, and natting, weeding, and nothing, everything, source natting, destination nattings, and all things you should know. That is a basic firewall options you should know. Then we will come back to the layer over means we can come back to the layer 5, 6, and 7 attacks. That is nothing but the cyber security attacks. So if you are looking for any certification help or something, or you are looking for any course or something like that, I am available on this number. It is my Skype ID. Like informations. Let me admit them all. Many people are coming up now. It's very good. Anyway, they are joining now. So this is my information. You can call me or you can WhatsApp me on this number, which is displayed on the screen, and you can send an email on to this techrout@gmail.com. You can ping me on Skype, and you can visit my page on FB also. I'm recently starting. I'm going to start something on a YouTube page also. You can start seeing all the videos on my screen. And this is my contact info. You can come back to me on this. And moreover, I would like to show you something on Linux in the sense, if it is a cyber security in the sense, we should be talking about the Linux also. I have the Kali Linux which with me. I will be showing you that Kali Linux for you. New share, let me show you that Kali Linux. I guess you can see my screen on Kali Linux. So this is the mostly welcomed software which people will be looking for. Let me make it as like a bigger one. Mm, I guess yeah. This is the one. Like this Kali Linux will be used for like all kind of an attacks which can happen on this. So applications you can see there are many applications which are there which we can go information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web applications, database, password hacking things, wireless hacking tools, reversing engineering tools, exploitation tools, sniffing tools, and post exploitation tools, forensics, reporting, SET, and the services and advanced things. Many things are there. We can able to see that. One second, let me show you that from here. It will be easy. So information gathering. In the information gathering, you can switch off the video. Hello, Anis. Video is not required. Please,
Ah, yes.
please.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, fine.
Thank you. Okay. Information gathering is like we will be using these tools for information gather. Dimitri, DNMap, IKE scan, Maltigo, NetDiscover, Nmap, POF, Recon NG, Sparta, ZenMap means why I'm saying this. If you would like to protect your system in the sense, you should know how to attack it also. In the sense like you should be knowing how to attack as well as how to protect also. Then only you will come to know that what sort of an attacks which are happening on your system. So you should be in a position to understand this Kali Linux very much and what are the software which is being used for to attack your systems or something. So these are all things which we can try in the labs. Vulnerability analysis. In the vulnerability analysis, we have all the software which is there, NIC2, Nmap. Nmap not normally we use it in our like what are the IP addresses are there in our system. We can find out that Sparta, Unix, and Gulismero, something like that. Web application analysis is very important. Burp suit. We will be normally using this burp suit to check our integrity of our own systems like Comics, HT-Track, OWASP, Taros, Skipfish, SQL Map, web scrapping. Oh, great, nice, very nice software. This is web scrapping. Okay, and the WP scan. These are all for a web application analysis. Means if you would like to map the entire site, you can do the web scrapping. Means web scrapping, when we do that, then we will be able to get all the e-commerce site informations to our own database. Then we can run a fake website on Amazon like that. It is possible. So that's how the people are getting, cheated. Then the database assessment we can do. This is like SQL injections and everything which I was talking about. That so many tools are there. How to attack your SQL engines, SQLite, SQL dictionary, SID, OS scanner, MQB. We will be able to see many of the things when the course has been started on this. Password attacks is like, but it may be taking a lot of time to understand what all the passwords are there. But still, if you have a very strong system, means you are having some 64 GB RAM and you have some near about 24 core processor or something like that, you can run this software to get the password attacks happening on the system because it requires a heavy resource on the host computer where we are running on this. The Medusa is a very good tool. John the Ripper is a very good tool to understand the passwords on this. If I'm giving a file which is encrypted password on this, if I'm using one of the tools on this, I can able to extract the password from the file without corrupting that. It is possible for me. Wireless attacks. Everybody, whoever is starting to attack something like that, they will like to look for Wi-Fi password. I want to have the Wi-Fi password of the other guy. Why you are looking for pay some money and get that internet connection? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that is also possible. We can get that Wi-Fi password even if it is a WPA2 password has been given on that. But it may take all matter of time only. We may have to wait for 2-3 hours to get because we need to do multiple attacks. Then only we will be able to get that password of this. When the person is reconnecting again, he will be supplying his username and password to the broadband router or any other devices, Wi-Fi devices to him. So at that time, we will be getting this password. So we may have to be very much patient in getting the passwords on this. Reverse engineering. This is a very newer one, which we need to understand that all. Flasm, iPad, Japad, Java, Snoop, NASM, so many things are there. Exploitation tools. This is how we will be going to exploit the victims PC, victims server. Metasploit is a very good tool, which I be using to show it to all the people. MSF payload, search exploit, social engineering attacks, SQL map, terminator, many things are there. Sniffing and spoofing. Sniffing, like how the packets are going. We can take it as like this is a man of the middle attack. Like we can go with that sniffing. whenever the packet has been transmitted from the user to the computer or something like that, server or something like that, we will sniff it, what traffic has been going on. We can extract that information from that. So here also, like, we may have to spend days and days to find out that what traffic has been sent and received from the server or something. Post exploitation, once you got the data, you got all the information, like you would like to exploit what is happening on inside, what went on that, we can use all these tools. Forensics, this is gathering, like, is again a autopsy can be done. Autopsy is nothing but like it's a dead body analysis, like that. So what went wrong, who attacked us, what are the ways that things are getting attacked, something like that. We can go with this. Reporting tools is very much important. So whatever been attacked and all these things and all, like, we can go ahead and do some kind of a reporting with these tools. Possible. Social engineering tools. Very much everyone is eagerly looking for these tools. Backdoor, beef excesses, ghost phishing. So once again, let me come here. Now beef excesses, ghost phishing, multi-go, MSF payload, social engineering task, and U3 pawn. These are all usually, it can be used for your Facebook and many other tools are also there. Facebook, Twitter, or your Gmail attack. Gmail attacks also can happen. Gmail can be attacked. It's very easy. I can show you when you're giving your Gmail address to me. Very authorized attacks which can happen on that. Okay, and the next is system services like a beef start. You would like to start some of the services, you can do that. And useful applications will come up on this. And all the other things are all normal. This is a normal, like, because it's a normal Linux system only. So these are all the, normally we will be doing all these things. Most of them we will be covering up on the course, whatever the course you are looking for. And according to this, the certification point of view also, I will be able to cover up the topics which you are looking for, because Cisco CyberOps has got some different topic than the other ones. And CompTIA security, which I was showing you. I guess you can see my screen. Let me share this screen. So yeah, you can see that. Yes. So these are the certificates which we can do. CH and a CompTIA server security specialist, analyst, and people will be coming up with certain topics on this need to be covered. Nowadays, it is like reporting analysis has to be done on this, and they need to secure this risk system analysis. Like many topics are there in this cyber security. So it depends on the department that people will be coming up and asking that. I'll be able to take up all the things which are, because we've been doing a lot of audits in our own company, and I've been taking these courses for many people as well. So I can give you the courses as well, like whatever you're looking for. And so I guess I have finished my talk with this. If you have any queries, you can ask me about any certifications or, and you can ask me any questions on this. And if you'd like to give your Gmail address and any phone number or something like that, I will be getting back to you about the courses which I am offering on this, and I can contact you for further analysis as well. And you can ask me any questions if you would like to have on the cybersecurity side. I'm very much open to take up the questions from you now. Any doubts you can ask me, like which is the most paying certification or something like that. You can ask me. I can give you all. Hello.
Ramnath, Rudra here.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, actually, what is like a most valuable certificate in this?
Most valuable certificate in the sense, CASSP is the number one. I can say that. CASSP,
Okay.
but there is a heavy money involved in that, because the certification cost itself will be coming around $75,000 to $80,000, 80,000 rupees on this, and you need to be updating yourself every 2 years to register to the site ISC2. To retain the certificate, you just need to pay some money to them, and many things are there. But there is a very much valuable certificate, but it is not easy to clear it out as such. But it is like a learning path which you can go through, like a firewall and security and things. Once you've done that 2-3 years, you have experience on that, then you can try for CASSP clearing and all, because it is more theory involved rather than practical something.
Okay. Then one more thing is like, yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned like AWS security or certification, right?
Yeah.
So for that, we need to do any basic AWS courses before that, or directly we can do the certification.
Any specialty if you'd like to do, you may have to go through one of the associate exam.
Yeah, that is
Associate
what
in
my
the
type.
sense, like AWS Solution Architect Associate exam is there. Once you clear that, then you can get into that
Yeah.
specialty. It's possible.
Okay. So what are the like duration for the courses? Like you have the details of that.
It depends on the course which you are looking for, either CEH if you are looking for, or a CISSP. CISSP currently I'm not taking it. Some other courses I can do. Cisco CyberOps I can do that. And AWS maybe getting ready by next month because I'm on the preparation on that. But I've been already started on that AWS security, which I'm doing it because many people are asking me. And CompTIA security, definitely we can go for that, not an issue. This certification we can go for this.
Okay, Ramnath.
And CompTIA, which has been there on the screen, you can see that CompTIA cyber security analyst. That we can definitely do
Yeah.
that. And it has been fully
Yeah.
prepared, and all the labs are also been ready. CyberOps also been ready. CAH also we can be taken, not a problems. And this, when you
Okay.
talk about CASSP and CISA, there is a very high level. It may be take time for me to get prepared because when I am started talking about CASSP means the first question they will ask me whether you are certified or not. But actually I am not. That's why personally like that I can speak on. But people who are coming with some requirements or something like that, then I cannot go back and talk to the corporates and all about CASSP. That's what AWS can be done because we've been working on many projects on AWS already, and security solutions also been implemented. And I've been installing many other web application firewalls in AWS for our customers as well, like F5, ASM and all we used to install it. And the Fortinet has been getting installed on this. And AWS has got its own security features activation. We are doing that. So, but examination is different, like doing the job is different. Examination and all the things need to be prepared properly to give it to the students. So it may take some time. And same like Google Cloud Platform also. Azure also has got some WAF. But I can say that I can talk about CEH and CyberOps and CompTIA security specialist. That I can do. Definitely I can take it up. Maybe what is the duration? I can just say make a maximum month. I can say 30 days or weekdays. If you take that maximum 20, 25 days, it may go for. Weekends means like around 5 to 6 weekends we will be meeting. Means both the days in weekends, means Saturday, Sundays we will be meeting around 5 to 6 hours per day. Like that we'll do. Or if you come for a weekdays in the sense, maximum 2 hours per day, we can do that. But there is a prerequisite for this. It is not like that you can just start like any Windows administration or Linux administration. You require to be worked in somewhere in the network and with the firewalls also at least for 3 to 4 years. Then it's the job is easy for me to explain all this. Else I have to start from scratch. It may take a long time for us to finish the cyber security courses also. That is the most important point.
Okay.
Any other questions from anyone else? You can throw me any question, no problem. I am free to answer.
Yeah, Ramnath, this is Anish here. Hi.
Hi, yeah, tell me, Anish.
Hello. Yeah. Actually, I'm working in networking field, so I want to just go to the security part, security career. So,
Okay.
what is the best for me?
Security, you should be starting with basic security features. Like if you are starting
Yes.
with firewalls, is nice. You have to go for some firewall level certifications, either Checkpoint or Palo Alto or Cisco CyberOps, something like that. And Cisco has got some specialty on certifications on security also. You can go for it. Later, if you come to the kind of cyber security, it will be easy for you to grab it. That's what my suggestion is.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Ramnath. Thank you.
Okay. Or if you are working on like any of firewalls also, it's enough. I'm not looking for any certification has to be done on firewall, then you can do cybersecurity. No, not like that. If you are clear with your firewall knowledge and how do you, like writing the rules and how to create the VPNs, how do you create the IPsec VPNs and tunnelings and other things, if you are clear with that, ports and other things, if you are clear with that, we can start with that cybersecurity. The same thing which we are talking, but in a higher level. That is also okay. It's a mandatory in the sense like I want you to be worked on at least in some of the security product and in network for at least 3-4 years. So it's easy for you to start with the cyber security. That's my view. So any other questions? And I'll be sharing this video as well as this the PPT to the peoples, and they can I'll put it on Google Drive. You can get this anytime. And if you can give me your email address or something, I can directly talk to you. And in the chat itself, we can put it on that if you're looking for any immediate courses or solutions. Not only cybersecurity, I talk about AWS, Azure, and Cisco platform, and FI load balancer, checkpoint firewall. These all I take the sessions for the people. So you can contact me on any, Rahman has given it, nice. So other people also can be giving it, it's not a problem. So I will not be disturbing you, don't worry. I will not call you daily to understand, hey man, are you going for like, no. It's like a generally, I would like to give you all the information about that. So, yeah, Sachin Kohli has given me good. You can give, everyone can give, not an issue. I will be giving you all information about this, whatever we have done today. And I'll be giving you all the information about that, what I am going to talk, what other courses I am handling. Like that, I'll just, it's simple. Rutra Shekhar and Sachin Kohli and Mohammad Danis, all of them. Other people also can give it. I guess I was seeing around 8 people are there. Everyone can give it. Please give your email and your number.
Hello, Ramnath. You're from in Mumbai or in Bangalore?
I am in Bangalore. I am Bangalore located.
Okay.
So
Fine.
locations doesn't make any sense at all because everyone is working from home only. So I can conduct the sessions over the Skype or like Zoom also I can do it. It's not a problem at all.
Okay, got it.
So I've been taking currently some people who are in US also, like late night I used to talk to them about the AWS I'm talking. So like that is not an issue at all. Nowadays everyone look for people look for like only because they would not want to leave their place. Thanks for Pratik. Okay. Given the numbers. Other people can give it. I'm not going to disturb you. That's what I'm telling. Definitely. Don't worry. Because when you once you go to the institute or something, they call daily 2 hours, 3 hours. They'll not be like not that way. I'll give you all necessary information. If you like it, you can come back to me. Because I'm a professional. I'm a working professional. I used to work on a company which I do some designs and solutions for the customers on cloud as well as on-prem also. Ratin sir, oh, I have your number already, sir. Thank you anyway. So I'm experienced at 10 plus years in the industry. So you don't need to worry about that. The things which I'm going to deliver it will be like a state of the art. And I'm an engineer. I would like to tell you that information that I'm not going to talk to you any easy things or something. It will be like completely technical. We will be talking and we'll be seeing all the practicals, lab scenarios only, with some explanations as descriptions like levels we'll be talking on. So you'll get a lot of things from me. Don't worry about that. I'll be giving you a lot of information to you, and I'll be helping you because I've been running many groups as well. Like we will be sharing a lot of technical information as well. So you'll get a lot from me if you come back to me for kind of certifications as well. Like, and it's in the screen. You can take out my number. You can call me anytime, or you can WhatsApp me. I guess so. People are not having much questions at all, so that I can think of closing this session by this time. And I will get back to you with all the information whichever you look for. So I'll please accept my email and please read my email. And this is definitely not a junk. It comes from my stuckerout@gmail.com. So I will handle all the requests on this one. So I guess I can close this meeting. I guess so, because if anyone has got some any other questions, you can tell me. I can answer that definitely. Anything you ask, no problem. Anything about other cloud solutions or cloud certifications or Cisco level or Juniper, something like that, you can talk about that. Not an issue. And I would like to say that if a person is a network engineer, in the sense you should be having at least knowledge on 3-4 boxes, routers as well, and firewalls as well, load balancers as well. Like cloud knowledge is very much now important because SDN is the one which we are now currently working on, software defined networking. So like expectations are coming up daily, more and more it's coming up. So we should be able to wrap up our own skills. So this like sessions will be giving you a lot of ideas that which path you can choose on this. Okay, I see that people are not asking any questions, so that I can close this meeting. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Ramnath.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thanks, Ramnath.